Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we're going to talk about a possible way Creative Assembly could implement an End Times campaign into Total War Warhammer 3. So without further ado, let's begin. Throughout the current lifespan of the Total War Warhammer series, there have been numerous references to an event known as the End Times. To those not aware, the End Times was the death of Warhammer Fantasy by all definitions of the word death. In the lore, the forces of Chaos banded together alongside the Skaven and led an unholy crusade which eventually destroyed the Warhammer world. The forces of Chaos were indeed so powerful that all races in the Warhammer Fantasy world had to band together in hopes of stopping them. Even Nagash, the Lord of Death himself, was forced to ally with mortals, and despite such a grand alliance, they ultimately failed. At the end of this book series, the Warhammer Fantasy tabletop game was then discontinued in favour of restarting everything anew in Age of Sigmar. Now, we're not going to cover that. It was a drama in its own which made many hobbyists, including myself for a while, quit the hobby. But you can't really argue that the event of the End Times itself wasn't absolutely massive. For the first time in years, a bunch of new plot was finally added to the series. Yeah, some of it wasn't too good, but it was still new plot. Especially since every single edition that came out for Warhammer Fantasy was always kinda lacking with new lore. And for the first time in what felt like absolute years, we finally got a bunch of new models. Mostly stuff for Chaos, but also the return of Nagash in a big new form. Now, while this might sound like I'm diverting a little bit, believe me, all that you've just heard has some relevance to this video. So as stated before, as the Total War Warhammer series has been going on, there have been a number of references towards the End Times, either the End Times itself or any characters tied to it. Obviously, the player base has noticed the hints, and it's led many people to speculate whether or not a End Times campaign would be possible. And honestly, I believe this is indeed possible, but not the way that people think. If an End Times campaign is to be implemented, it has to be done right, but also having the option of a true sandbox experience as we are all accustomed to when playing Total War games. Firstly, due to the sheer scope and scale of the End Times, the campaign itself would have to be in the big mega campaign map, the Mortal Empires 2 Electric Boogaloo. I still don't know if they actually gave it a name yet. Obviously, because a campaign of this size would have to be playable throughout as much of the Warhammer world as possible. Here's hoping it's at least decently sized and not just featuring the extra Darklands and that's it. Next, obviously the mega campaign would have to have a narrative storyline for each of the respective races in the game. Now, just with saying that, I know a few of you have lost interest, but bear with me a few minutes. Trust me on this, I've thought of a way that works out for both the sandbox player and the narrative player. Well, it's not really my idea, it's actually something that's already been implemented in Total War 3 Kingdoms. The campaigns in Total War 3 Kingdoms have a narrative feel, but also has the same level of sandbox that everyone's accustomed to from a Total War game. This is done via its chapter-based mission system, where you can freely follow the story as much as you'd like, but at any point, if you'd like to follow a more sandbox approach, you can easily forego the storyline by clicking an option when it pops up, and just go about doing your own thing. So even if the campaign had a narrative aspect, you didn't have to follow it. As soon as the game starts, you'd be given the option of following the story or not, and if you decided not to, then you could just go on your usual sandbox experience. Naturally, no unique units or characters should be tied to the narrative series, but instead it should focus around a series of triggers. Obviously, these are just suggestions, but what about the following? Say for example, if you were playing as Malekith, your main objective would be to invade Ulthuan and to be crowned Phoenix King. Successfully doing so would force some minor high elf factions to become your vassals. This would more or less represent Malekith's ascension to Phoenix King, as when he was eventually recognized as Phoenix King, a lot of high elves did flock to his banner. Something like this could also allow Malekith to recruit a few high elf units in his army. Another example would be if Nagash is implemented as a playable character. Following the story of the End Times, you could either have the Vampire Counts, the Tomb Kings and the Vampire Coast as vassals, or make them confederate into your army. There could even be special events so you could get characters joining your roster. Say for example, if you play as the Demons of Chaos, there could be a way, maybe via a special quest battle, that you could corrupt Isabella von Karstein and have her permanently leave the army of the Vampire Counts and join your demon army. Honestly, there's so much potential given how much lore there is in the End Times that Creative Assembly could make a truly special narrative campaign. Now, it could be possible that they could just add in the End Time stuff and just not give us any sort of narrative or option to follow a narrative, but I feel like that would be a massive shame. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a discussion. If you have any ideas on how this could be implemented or any specific triggers or events and so on, state them in the comments below and let's start a bit of a discussion regarding all this. I'm rather curious to see what you guys think. Before we end this video, I've just got a few things just to pass by you guys. So as you guys know, I'm also considering checking out some other Warhammer games and doing some videos on them. So I was thinking the better way for me to be able to engage with you guys at the same time as being able to record some new footage that I might use for anything that I use for voiceovers and so on. I was thinking on maybe once or twice a week streaming the games, so that way I can record the footage that I need, but also be in contact with you guys and we can chat lore and all that whilst I'm filming. People have suggested streaming as a good way to be able to engage with the community more, so let me know what you guys think about that. Depending on the reception, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. And lastly, in case you haven't seen the community post, because I'm not sure if it actually gets to everyone, I'm happy to confirm that we're going to have Matt Ward as a guest on the channel for a video, so I'm taking some questions from the community. If you have a question for Matt, just go to the channel page on the community tab and just state it there. The video with Matt should come out in maybe 2-3 weeks time, it really depends, but we're looking forward to it, and this might be the first of many new possible guests on the channel. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various different links to social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team. Also in the description section below is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using our special link and also using our special code, both of which are in the description below, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. Honestly, it's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A special thank you to our patrons Gibraltar LUSC and Ryan Bertsche for subscribing to us at our Fane level. Honestly, you guys are super cool. And a big thank you to our patron Edward Hewell for subscribing to us at our King level. Mate, you're super awesome. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.